Alright, folks, welcome back. It is day 12 with HanziHero. 欢迎大家回来。今天是第十二天。We got through a very long Wanikani session before this big peak day. So this is technically Wanikani peak day, which I'm going to be referring to it as peak day from now on. HanziHero, I'm not expecting it to change. At least I don't think. There is a consideration to boosting the lessons to 20 days as opposed to 20 per day as opposed to 10. We'll see about that. I'm kind of considering it. Today is still level up day though. Wanikani leveled up, and today we're leveling up with HanziHero as well. Now, interestingly enough, HanziHero at the pace it's going right now, you level up after roughly 13 days, or 11 days. So it's like plus or minus 2 days in the long run. I'm still curious how the review stuff stacks up in the algorithm, like how HanziHero is doing it. The review has been hovering around 27-ish, 23 on the low end and 27 on the high end. So we'll see as we level up today. Not too bad. Things are going well. I made a few errors, which we can go over now, actually. So I put parentheses over this, right? As opposed to without parentheses. So gong, ong, for temple. And Buddha. Buddha was not very. That's what they're looking for. And not okay, right? 不行. Not okay, don't spell out okay, but we added to the synonym, so it's not a big deal. Alright, let's get into our lesson.
火车
火车 train. Interesting enough, we still didn't get train over at Wanikani. 火车, is this going to be a mnemonic about it's powered by the fire of the engine? Fair enough. 火车 我不喜欢 Wow, look at Juan. 我不喜欢 What is the what is that ba? Da. Oh, da. Oh, da. Maybe that's da. 打火车游泳 Oh, 行 行 Oh, 旅行 Yeah, 旅行 打火车旅行
我不喜欢搭火车旅行。
搭火车旅行 Yeah, fair enough. I was gonna say Joel. I was looking for Joel. But that wouldn't be what this is. And then 火车站
火车站
火车站火车站
火车站
Yeah, not too bad. So
火车
and train.
二手
Second hand. Oh, that's funny. Second hand. That's pretty right on the head. Second hand. When you buy something that's second hand, your hand is literally the number 2 hand to use it. Okay. That's even more little. I was gonna say it's self-explanatory when second hand. Arshol. 二手 material. Something 课. That kind of looks like 机课
二手资料
Oh, 资料. Oh, and that's using 料. Oh, wait. Is that different Oh, I kind of thought that was 课. Hold up. That's probably the 2 reads, right? The 2 reads on stuff. Oh no, it's not 课. I'm thinking of something else. Yeah, that's 料. Ah, dang it. That's a different character that I'm thinking of. 料 料 is 资料, right? 资料. Is that what I was thinking of? 资料. The last time I did it. No, it's not 资料. Oh yeah. 资料 for materials or matter. Oh, 资料. 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 I have to think about that one. Maybe not. So
二手资料
资料.
二手资料
Yeah, so 资 is fine. It's the one that I think it is. It's the one that I think it is because it's simplified. The simplified is just the roof and then the stroke. So this bottom one is this character. And funny enough, that's the one that's used for like business related documents and business related things. Use this.
二手资料
二手资料。二手资料。我想要买二手车。
我想要买二手车。
二手车。Second-hand car, so like a recertified vehicle, right? 二手。
二手。
Second-hand.
20。
20. Okay. 2 plus 2 sets of 10 equals 20. The order here is important. If it's reversed, yeah, you get 12. Fair enough. 我20岁。我20岁。
我20岁。
岁。我20岁。I gotta make sure I don't say 岁 right? The sh 岁。我20岁。
我20岁。
我20岁。我有20本事。No. 是20本事。本事。
我有20本书。
本书。Oh wait, that's 书? Oh. Wow. Oh, that's so much more convenient. Yes, it does make sense. This is the same character. Okay. I was thinking of 是 as in like maybe they took the top of this, but Benshu makes sense. Books. I'm trying to distinguish the characters and not try to attach my meaning to anything at the moment. Okay. Shu, wow. Shu, they really made it different. Holy heck. I actually kind of like the way the simplified character looks over. I think the simplified character looks aesthetically more pleasing than this character. 这里有20个学生。
这里有20个学生。
20个的学生。20个学生。Okay. So what do we have is 20. Oops. 20.
20。
Whoops. You have to spell it out. I'm not sure if they take Roman characters as well. I mean Arabic. I keep saying Roman. Arabic. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. So Walter White in the basement. Walter White is doing something in the basement of the house at noon. Sundial. With a sundial. Can I see the sundial? I really go, This component depicts a portable sundial. Okay. The vertical stroke is the middle in the stake. Oh, I see it. Yeah, it's a cyber that drives it into the ground. The lower wide thing, horizontal stroke is the platform, and then you turn the thing while it's pointing. All the things that the shadow points at. The topmost horizontal is the drop at the end. Is the it's the thing to create the shadow. Fair enough. I see the sundial. We're fine. Wu. This is Juan. No. Shu. Oh, Shu. Can't see it. Estel. Ooh. Shit. You. Yeah, you. You. You? You. I think there are two sounds. I'm still not quite sure about that, so we'll find more examples soon enough. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. What are you doing with a sundial at noon? Walter White is in the basement of the house making meth, right? As he was doing the 8 different batches of meth as well. Oh wait. What was Walter White making meth before? In the basement. I don't know anymore. So we'll find out later. He knows he needs to stop cooking at noon. Oh, interesting. Or the meth will be ruined. He has a sundial in the middle of the basement to let him know, but there's no sun, so he ends up burning his meth by cooking past noon. He's in a fit of anger, smashes the sundial once he discovers it, and I thought Walter was supposed to be smart. Fake news, but, cool. Effective. 中午 上午 正午 oh yeah, right at noon. Yeah, 正午 exact. 正午 午 nap 午觉 wait no 午睡 yeah, it's like 睡觉 午睡 下午 afternoon. Walter White in the basement. Got relying on a sundial. Did not cook past noon. Got it. Hey. Okay, sundial. That's a small dot. That's certainly a typo. My bad. 20
20
You know what? I might as well test it, right? If I type 20. Okay. 二手
二手
火车
火车
Yeah. So the sundial thing, right? And then, ooh,
五
okay. More lessons. Yo. Jimmy Neutron. Nice. What is Jimmy Neutron doing? So D, D, and 9.
鸡
D. D sound in thinking has no English equivalent. Again, I don't like this type of phrasing, but it is roughly approximate to the pronunciation of the word D, but not quite as the G instead of G. G in pinging is pronounced quite differently to the sound J, right? Sure, right? It's not G, G, G. I don't prefer like this. This is to me incredibly hyper focused and non-constructive way of comparing things. Like if there's no equivalent, then there's no equivalent. I don't think you have to necessarily say that because it's redundant with saying it is roughly approximate to the word D. I think hyper focusing on similarities, and if there are similarities and whatnot, can be distracting, much as focusing on differences, and especially when you're redundantly illustrating something. The name Jimmy Neutron also begins with the letters G, right? You saw my you and say Jimmy is good. You're done streaming turn. Wow, that was a short session. Not bad. 1 hour? Good job. So we choose him to represent this initial. Jimmy Neutron is the main character of the television series of the same name. He's a child prodigy with an IQ of 210, which spends his time creating inventions that often go awry. He has a robot dog that he... Oh, I totally forgot that he had a robot dog. He often takes with him on his adventures. So, 210 is gigantic. Saying. Proper genius. 九金剑一尖 interesting. You look interesting. Is that supposed to be the small on top? Oh yeah, that is. Okay. Huh. Alright, Jimmy Neutron.
鸡
Welcome to the club. So 九九 If you look closely, you can see the N and the yeah. The N and then the I. Same example. Okay.
九
Okay. What are you doing in the basement of the bakery, Jimmy Neutron, that has anything to do with 9 of something? Jimmy Neutron is in the basement of the bakery building a cloning machine. He puts one perfect croissant in and presses a button. A second later, 9 donuts spit back out. Some of them hitting him in the face as they come out with maximum velocity. That sounds like an episode of Jimmy Neutron. Okay. 九月9000 Okay. Sure. Okay. Jimmy Neutron in the basement.
九
Firing up, creating 9 donuts. Right.
七
Okay, we have T. Special number. Kirby. Oh, so that's what they reserved for Kirby. What the heck? Okay. Master Chief was used as a silent protagonist, but Kirby is a silent protagonist too. Oh, I was kind of curious when they were gonna bring up Kirby. All right. T, really? How do they rationalize that?
七
Okay. T and has no code. Yeah, see, this is not functional. I don't like this. Personally, I think this is it's not functional. Like you have this list that's like, oh, okay, well, no attempts, because there are no sound. Yeah, see, like because there are no sound in English that corresponds to T, we somewhat arbitrarily choose Kirby because you're settled on the idea that there's no English equivalent. So you make it no attempt to do so, and therefore you have to use rote memory and then create a mnemonic that's absurd enough to create a rote memory of it. And I disagree, right? I probably use something like Qi, as in like Tai Chi. Someone who practiced Tai Chi. I don't know. If since you're not gonna use it to match the words or letters, you can use anyone that does something that works with cheese or Tai Chi, like a martial artist or something like Jackie Chan. Actually, Jackie Chan is not the greatest example, but something like that. But instead, we just remember Kirby, which is fine, I suppose. So we somewhat arbitrarily choose Kirby to represent the sound. Kirby is a video game, yeah, so there's basically nothing. You use rote memory. Fair enough. Occasionally, I mean, you don't have to use everything with mnemonics, right? You can use rote memory. This usually mnemonics help you free up things to use rote memory. So qi, tian, che, che. Interesting. I didn't realize that's. I usually use ga. Where the heck is ga from? Qi, qiu. Okay. I'm not speaking Mandarin, by the way. That was not Mandarin. That was talking about. It's more cut, but it's a different type of cut. So, yeah, so. Wait. Qie. Oof. Yeah, so. Okay. So like. What could you get with a QI, a character that has QI? Honestly, I can't think of a character right off the top of my head that would use QI either.
七
Okay. Flip it upside down and it kind of looks like a 7. Yeah. Yeah. Same deal. Infused. T. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Oh, you know what? Nah, that's a little too far. I was gonna say maybe you can make a connection with Ki, right? Ki and Chi if they picked a Dragon Ball Z character. Like a Dragon Ball character. I mean, you could even go with Chi-Chi from Dragon Ball. Like the Dragon Ball series, you can use Chi-Chi and that would kind of fit with this as opposed to picking a Kirby or Chi. I mean, Chi-Chi is closer to than saying, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan. I'm getting this impression that oftentimes the person that's making this, like Kevin, likes to be very like pedantic, like very exact about it, and that's something that Ko does not do, right? And then people, obviously this isn't for everyone because people complain that it's a stretch if you're making near rhymes or near sounds. Well, saying that there's no equivalent, it's non-functional, right? You just don't do anything. So what happens is you just choose not to do anything about it. And that's fine, I guess, because I'm going to remember just the word qi, like anything with qi, as opposed to using the mnemonic, right? It could be anyone's name in Kirby, basically, in the place of Kirby at the moment. Not the greatest.
7,
Probably expected this at some point, since the developer constantly writes there's no equivalent. Like what you're expecting, there's no equivalent. You gotta work around that. Okay, so what is Kirby doing, or anyone is doing in the house, right? With 7 of something. Kirby is in front of the house. Actually, there are 7 of them. I can actually kind of see that. They all lined up in each a different color. That works. From left to right. And then Roy G. Biv. Yep. 7 colors. The rainbow. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Roy G. Biv. The 7 colors of the rainbow. 7 Kirby's in total. They're patiently waiting after ringing the doorbell. Okay. Fair enough. T 100 million. T E. Interesting. I don't think I've ever gone that high. So I don't really know what the equivalent. I don't know how to say it in. I don't think I've ever gone that high. So yeah, I don't have any units beyond 10,000. I only have ever used anything up to the millions. Like the millions and tens of millions, but not hundreds of millions. Intriguing. Huh.
7、
Okie dokie. So we have component 9. Yo was, what was that, Jimmy Neutron? And then it was O, right, because of bakery, and O in basement
9、
with the 9 clones, or 9 donut clones. 7.
7、
Okay. You kind of sometimes hear T instead of T. Wait. Just kidding. Oh yeah, no. That was just from the previous. Just kidding. Just kidding. We're fine.
7、
Rainbow works. Rainbow is pretty good. Do I use K? Just standard K? Oh no. Yeah, see, that's a problem.
7、
T is a problem. That's okay though. So hear me. I think I might turn up to 20. Let's add another 10 because Wanikani's peak days are, because we can still squeeze these in 1 hour burst. Let's see what happens if I change this to right now. Change this to 20. What happens if I go back? Oh, if I click save, right? Any thoughts on TikTok getting banned and learning Mandarin? They're unrelated to each other. But if people Actually, yeah, they're unrelated to each other. You can learn Mandarin somewhere else. So, my thoughts on TikTok, and I'm a little indifferent to it. I have other reasons why I would be concerned with TikTok, but it's not of the reasons of why they got banned. And I'm learning Mandarin. It's a moot point when it comes to TikTok. If that's like, I'm indifferent, either learning Mandarin or TikTok. So let's see what happens if I switch. I don't use TikTok, so you might want to also, that's for disclosure, I haven't ever used TikTok. So I have no attachments to it. Let's see what happens if I save it immediately and see if they expand to 10 right away. Oh, 9. Okay, so this will be a good time to see. We'll change it to 20. 20 is sounds like a more of an hour thing. So let's add. I wonder why it's 9. All the numbers. Okay.
Me.
Okay, me. Mickey Mouse. I can get behind that. Me. Gotcha. You only got on TikTok for the first time like 2 months ago, so unfortunately I'm addicted to it like many people. Interesting. It took you 2 months to only get addicted to TikTok? I see. So what are you gonna do now? By the way you speak, I guess you live in the United States? Because TikTok isn't banned anywhere, like elsewhere. So I like to believe then you're from the United States. I also reside in the United States, so no, I'm not addicted to it. Oh, sorry. Oh, you said you're not addicted to it like many people. Okay. My bad. I misread. But if you're not addicted to it, then I guess that's good. So no attachments, right? No attachments. But since you asked it, I guess United States? What do you usually do with your spare time when it comes to social media? My social media is confined to light YouTubing most of the time now. Now they call themselves TikTok refugees and move to that is an overgeneralization, but some people choose to go there, yes. It is banned in some European countries, and yes, the US. You're in the US. Okay. I know it's banned in some other European countries, but you asked me about the TikTok ban. So if it was already banned in a European country, then you wouldn't mention it most of the time. And if you were in a country that it is not banned, then it wouldn't come up as well. So the likelihood is that's why I'm presuming and asking. Yeah, that would be an overgeneralization, Churn. There are many ways to think about replacing TikTok. I think the dialogue that rings the loudest are those who are dependent on it. And then the ones who see the impact are the ones who are intimately involved. So the noise that is being created in 小红书 is the ones that are the loudest. But I can assure you that the vast majority of TikTok like traffic also overlaps with a lot of other things. Discord, YouTube, and Instagram, solid. I don't have an Instagram either. I don't know how Instagram is shaping up. My personal friends, my best friends, do use Instagram. They also use no, they use Instagram. Yeah. I don't think anyone mentioned Snapchat. So for myself, it's YouTube, like YouTube most of the time, and then the rest is like I consume media, so I read articles and watch movies and stuff. I actually I'm gonna I'm not sure if this is still a thing that people have a misconception about. I don't actually watch a lot of streams either. There's just not enough time. So usually watching other streams involve like collecting data and some sort of reciprocated collaboration or something related to that. And then for YouTube, it's for instructional material. So I'm usually like writing something or thinking about something when I'm consuming YouTube videos. And a smaller portion, maybe like 1 to 2%, when I want to chill and vibe, I can participate in a little bit of doom scrolling, right? But generally speaking, TikTok has largely did not appeal to me in the terms of functionality. There wasn't any person who also was like, here's the ironic part, right? Lots of times the people who are already on TikTok are not concerned about convincing other people to be on TikTok because there are a lot of people on TikTok. And if you're going to hang out with people who use TikTok, they're the same people that are already on TikTok. As opposed to like someone who is trying to get into TikTok, you don't really have to convince someone to get on TikTok. If they're interested, they probably find their way on TikTok, right? For myself, not so much. I'm a long format kind of guy. I legitimately am someone who doesn't resonate with some of the things that involves the behavioral perception of stuff. I mean, I'm a critic, I'm critical about how social media affects people's mental state and mindset most of the time. Discord, on the other hand, that's a really wonderful topic that I haven't gone into for a while. Instagram is interesting too, and there's Pinterest, right? Some people brought that up a couple times because I do artwork for fun. So there's Pinterest. I think there's also people bring up X, or formerly Twitter, and then Blue Sky, right? Blue Sky is the growing competitor. Lots of stuff. What I can say about TikTok is I think about Vine a lot. Vine, the one that closed out of the blue in 2017. So I think about Vine quite a bit, this situation. However, there is a very, very difference to something that's being banned in only one country and being not successful in other countries. Boomer. Oh yeah, Pinterest is great, and so is Blue Sky. Yeah, so there are alternatives. You only got back to IG last year? Oh, interesting. How are you using Instagram, Churn? Vine was so much better. TikTok? Well, I mean, Vine's not around anymore because of mismanagement and whatnot. There's also like, I kind of like the idea of Omegle, and Omegle didn't work out either, like financially. So Omegle got closed down not too long ago. Just see people's stories. I see. I had a Facebook account. Well, I still have a Facebook account. I was in one of the early stages of Facebook. There was a time when Facebook only allowed college students and high school students. So I have an account from the early close usage era, and then I stopped kind of using it after it became, when it went public and all that stuff, because I don't really need to see all that stuff. A lot of my friends still stay connected, and family members and stuff stay connected with Facebook. In fact, some of my college peeps, when after I graduate, I see some of their stories and stuff on Facebook, right? So there's that. And Facebook still has, I think Facebook is still hang on. I almost want to say it's top 3 still in terms of traffic. But I haven't used it in a long time. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm kind of curious how it's gonna deviate. Hear me out here. I'm not like a government professional or like policy maker or anything. I do watch channels that deal with legalities, right? Legalities and uh political related like red tape and whatnot. And as far as I know, uh the Biden administration is concluding and they're like, let's just leave it up. We're gonna bypass it, evoke a clause that pushes the decision making to the incoming Trump administration, right? So, and it is possible for the incoming presidential, right, presidential elect still Trump to extend and modify the conditions. For now, though, TikTok is going dark for starting like apparently approximately like 2.5 hours ago. Someone already said that TikTok went dark, as suggested by people who run TikTok. So for now, it's banned tentatively, provided there's no appeal process or anything like that. Right? It's interesting. I personally do not have anyone who's like their lifestyle has changed remarkably to the TikTok ban. And I personally have not had anyone who that is very close to me that has been dramatically impacted or influenced by TikTok. So it's very difficult for me to gauge how that impacts other people. The fact that TikTok said explicitly that Trump will help them is concerning. Yeah, it can be a thing. I have no idea what the nature is. We'll find out in a matter of, what's today's date? The 19th? We'll find out in the presidential 100 days, right? Around 11 p.m. EST. Yep. That's what one of the persons said. It's within the 1 hour of the midnight. Yes. That's definitely checking out. I'm interested in seeing what happens though. I am someone who likes to understand what it means, because I don't want to be someone who writes off as something that's very important. I think TikTok is part of people's lifestyles that I do not have personal relations with, and perhaps if I were a little bit more experienced with TikTok, I would actually know how to suggest alternatives or whatnot, because I don't necessarily think whatever I'm doing is is an excellent alternative for TikTok. It'll be interesting how people talk about it in the future. You happen to be the second person who mentioned TikTok today. Yeah. And for the Mandarin learning part, that's interesting. I didn't realize that's a thing where like Mandarin and TikTok coincides. Not sure about that. I'm my background is my parents are Chinese. So they don't TikTok, I guess, or I don't know any of my cousins do. So it's a little interesting thought. I'm not sure where I'm going to go with the whole Mandarin learning other than doing what I'm currently doing. But 2025, we're doing something that doesn't involve TikTok at the moment. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think the next 2 or 3 days is going to be different on the internet. I'm going to be following this story, so maybe I'll have a little bit more to say a little bit later. Today I've been doing this the whole time, so didn't really get a chance to see how people have responded and how other people are reacting and or adjusting to the current situation. I did hear about the 小红书, right? I did hear about that. Someone who's from China was a little bit more intimately involved. Zhao was more intimately involved in this. So I'm probably going to get a lot of vicarious information on it. You brought it up because people are going to Little Red book to upset our Congress people. Yeah, in a form of protest. The loud ones, right? Where I'm aware of, this is anecdotal, purely anecdotal. I do have acquaintances, as in people I've met across the street and whatnot. I feel like while the loudest people want to demonstrate outwardly their protests, right, in an act of protest, I feel for every one of those who are very loud and want to voice their objections and whatnot, I think a larger number of people have found that they're just move on to a different platform. So a platform that's may scratch that itch, or maybe they have rediscovered. It would be interesting to see what happens if that access gets cut off and how it affects the behavior side of things. And for me, that's very important to me. I actually do bring up TikTok, YouTube, algorithms, and whatnot in the context of learning, not necessarily Mandarin, but in the context of learning, how one can manage the stimuli you're getting from TikTok, which is a really big effector, and then YouTube algorithm, and how does that relate to a processing reward, consistency, and discipline when you're learning something. For me, it doesn't impact me because I do not consume it. I do not consume media that way. Yeah. And I try to connect with people who do. It's become an interesting experience, I think, overall. Language learners, less so, which is a telltale sign of pre-selection of the type of people. Like TikTok doesn't come into the discussion as often as one might think. Through my last year, we're almost cropping up at a year of language learning, so that's an interesting coincidence, right? Not causation, but there is an interesting coincidence, if not correlation, between individuals who spend most of their time concerned about learning something and how often TikTok comes up in a discussion. What is this to compare it to? I need something to compare it to, so that anecdotally I'm comparing this to video games. When I play video games, TikTok comes up a lot more when you're talking about video games, or like talking about hacks and shortcuts and what people say or the next best thing. That's when TikTok comes up. In language learning, it's a lot less. Outside of probably someone linking me TikTok and saying how Duolingo ruined their life or something like that. That's probably the closest thing. You might thinking I'm exaggerating, but someone did link me, did deliberately link me something. I was like, oh yeah, I'll check it out in the evening. And it was just someone complaining how how Duolingo ruined 4 years of their life, you know, because it was designed to ruin people's lives on TikTok. Like that person is on TikTok complaining about how Duolingo ruined their life. I'm not sure if that's funny or not, but I sense a bit of irony in the idea that you would talk about a language learning app that is supposed to compete with TikTok while complaining about it on TikTok. So I think that's the closest thing I've gotten. Otherwise, it's language learning most of the time. We'll find a way. We'll find a way to live on. Oh, which by the way, I do communicate with other people in China using, so like, there's not a lot of ways to communicate with people in China when it comes to like online stuff. So I still use like international versions of like WeChat or something. to be able to communicate with someone like someone that is a scholar or someone that my family knows, that kind of thing. That still happens because it's very, very difficult to have them share space and stuff. So it is a relevant topic, and it sets a precedent. And I'm curious how that affects policy making in the future, right? If you can do this, it's, how should I think about this? It's kind of like when the first time the government broke up a monopoly, right? I think the one that I remember most vividly, it's the redistribution, maybe like it's kind of like a divesting when Microsoft and Office were excluded, right? So the Microsoft and Office together was a big deal. And then somehow they had to divest in a way that Microsoft and Office aren't like bundled together. There are some okay Duolingo courses, but it's not preferable for most languages. But you're cherry picking. I think the Hebrew course has help for a bunch, but you're cherry picking. Duolingo is the whole product, right? So that's what makes people ruin their lives. Their expectation is that the product is exclusively dedicated to one language, which it isn't. You can criticize, like it's the same as going to Wanikani and criticizing it doesn't cover other languages. Therefore, it's okay. Not great. Right? So, at least in my opinion, if I had to be a little aggressive about a little direct about the whole it's okay thing, right? It is both the sum of what it's best at and the sum of what it isn't. And what it's best at is quite excellent. And it has even less to do with the actual content of the courses. At least in my opinion. That's how I evaluated some of the things Duolingo advertises. Evaluating solely based on its content, I can kind of see that as a attractive way of how people, language learners, evaluate things, right? And I think that would be underselling things like HanziHero and Wanikani and the like. I would probably say that for the most part, when I think of people or think about people's products, I don't choose to focus specifically on the things that make them not great and the specific things that make them great both ways, as opposed to looking at the product as a whole and understanding what the product is designed for, right? So you can start things in Duolingo and you can end somewhere else, right? Is that part of the design? Sometimes I feel like I tend to say that more often as a form of reasonable doubt. Give the person a reasonable doubt that they hadn't considered that type of perspective. It's kind of like expecting one to be a basketball player for the rest of their life, right? So then you only evaluate the person based on their legacy as a basketball player, as opposed to evaluating their legacy as the summation of their whole life. It can be, the word I would probably use is a lot of the type of criticisms online, especially like a comment about TikTok bans and all that stuff. It can be a place that comes from myopic passion. So you're very invested in this, but it also is part of human condition to be myopic about it, as in short-sighted about it. And I don't think that's good or bad. It's something to be aware of, though. Like the Hebrew course, I don't know anything about the Hebrew course, so I can't even say anything about the Hebrew course. I can only say something about the Japanese and the Chinese course, and I can't even say anything about the completion of the Japanese course because I don't actually know yet. I'm about a third through the Japanese course. I did complete the. I did see all the content in the Chinese course though, and it's okay. Yeah, I don't think there's any app that can fully teach any language. I may be wrong. There might be one out there. Yeah, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I'll tell you if I find one. I'll tell you if I find something that is so trendy that it's capable of accounting for all the trends of a naturally changing language in real time. Maybe AI, maybe the truly generative AI, which doesn't exist at the moment, could circumvent that. Who knows? Here's my thought about fully teaching something. Language is not a mechanic to me. It's a form of expression, right? So when it comes to a form of expression, naturally a large portion of it is subjective. Because it represents expression, human subjectivity. So suggesting that any singular product or unified subjectivity is suggesting that there's an objective way to measure something that can fully teach any language, right? And I think that's more of a philosophical question at this point. Largely due to the nature of language, right? Can you fully teach English? Well, there isn't anything that covers internet lingo, so that's already going to be something that makes the comment pretty much reasonable. I don't think there's a single app that can fully teach any language. It's kind of like capturing human expression. Trying to objectify something that is subjective is a paradox, in my opinion. Like philosophically, it is a paradox. It's kind of like saying, I don't think there's a app that teaches people how to best cook food. To fully cook the best food. Or like, I don't think there's an app where you can fully teach someone how to paint. Or an app that fully teaches someone how to write music. Since human expression is through language, arts, music, and all that stuff, it's kind of a weird logical, in my opinion, it's kind of a weird cognitive dissonance to make something that is a part of human expression quantifiable. It's nice to have those things, though. You know, how many words we need to know, how to gauge fluency using numbers, how many characters we need to know. It's a good rule of thumb. But man, it's interesting how humans can become fixated on objectifying something that is at its core subjective. I don't think my English will ever be full. You know, like I'm not entirely sure how that works out. If I can't achieve a fullness in English, I don't see how I could find something that can teach any other language outside of the language that I already have. Right? Such an interesting discussion. I'm gonna go around and ask people though. It's not gonna stop me from asking people. People are definitely going to have different opinions about it, which makes it even more interesting. Being able to fully comprehend something largely means that people don't have opinions about it, if you know what I mean. So if something can be fully understood, that there's no opinions regarding it. If you're having something that has opinions, it's naturally not going to be full. So if you're discussing about it, talking about it, and having to doubt yourself, then it's probably not quantifiably finite. You could say Avogadro's number. That might be finite. Planck's constant, maybe. Some like fields of mathematics might be finite. As in, if someone says 1, how do you quantify 1? We wouldn't have to discuss anything. And even then, 1 is already tough. Oh, pretty interesting. Don't know if anyone's into philosophy, if they learn language learning and it leads them down the path of philosophy. I feel learning Chinese is a great path to maybe like consider reading something like the Art of War or something in Mandarin. I had thought about that. I'm not sure if I will ever. We'll see in like 3 or 4 years if I have the competence to go through the Art of War. I'm pretty sure that's public domain. Hold on. Is Art of War public domain? Yes. I hope it is. Yeah, it predates any copyright. So maybe one day we'll read Art of War. Thank you for raising an interesting question and interesting commentary. I was beginning to be a little bit concerned that the HanziHero is being overshadowed by Wanikani, but if Mandarin leads to these discussions, well, we can talk about what we can share stories about what we've heard or read about TikTok and all that in the future, right? Not so much like what our positions are, but what people have been hearing that's going on. And for now, I have heard nothing about the fallout of TikTok. I look forward to reading about it, I suppose. Reading about how it's gonna go. And how... Oh, I know something. On the tech news side of things, I have read a little brief article that the people, the developers behind, or the community behind Xiaohongshu have decided collectively to segregate or propose a segregation between those who have Chinese IPs and those who have foreign IP addresses. That's interesting. I'm not sure how that's going at the moment, but that creates a very interesting topic on the internet. That's unprecedented, in my opinion, at the moment. So, imagine. I wouldn't say parts of that type of idea didn't already exist. It does exist in a different form. That's like region locking content and or regional competitive esports, for example, or regional locked servers and whatnot. So like people, NA, SA, if that's a thing, and Oceanic, right? EU, that kind of thing. So there is other forms of segregation in terms of populace use of a particular thing. For example, often are on global servers. Meanwhile, a lot of the Japanese stuff, there's a Japanese server and a global server. So this stuff is still exists somewhere else. Now, this is the first time where the segregation is fueled by community dissonance. So interesting. It's like a new age founding of segregation. I am not one that is unfamiliar to communal segregation, since I grew up in the United States as someone who belongs to a minority group. That stuff can really impact someone's opinions and thoughts on things. So seeing it unfold on the internet is unprecedented, especially one that is not carried out by a governing body, but more a communal body. More on that later. Thank you for keeping me giving me an idea of my future, a future thing to talk about. Okay.
Me.
Okay, so Mickey Mouse. Me, which makes sense. Mickey. Okay, Mickey Mouse, iconic animated cartoon character with large ears and distinctive red shorts. Okay. I forgot that Mickey Mouse wore red shorts. He is known for his amicable personality and honesty. Yep. So, Ming? Ah, Ming and Ming. Yeah. Name, tomorrow, or next, sort of. Meow. Meow. Meow.
Meow.
Meow. Just trying to get me to sound like a cat. Meow. 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 Oh wow, to take aim. I just realized that these crosses are not connected. Huh. Intraditional. So me,
Me.
rice, me. I want to talk about pickles, but we'll talk about pickles tomorrow. Dude, pickles are fantastic. And what I mean is the pickle game has changed recently, and I recently delved back into pickles. Those pickles, we're talking about like pickled cucumbers, pickles. The pickles game have changed so dramatically. Maybe in the last 6 or 7 years. Jeez. Forming a unique shape. When using this component, imagine a bunch of white uncooked rice. Okay. Fair enough.
Me.
Me. Okay, what is Mickey Mouse doing in the basement of this house with rice? Mickey Mouse is in the basement of the house, which is full of scattered rice. He gets on his knees and starts nibbling at it. He's being a mouse after all. What the heck? That paints a really uncharacteristic picture of Mickey Mouse. Alright. Is that supposed to like... That's not Ju or anything, right? Oh, Yumi. Yumi. Or Yumi. Yumi. Mi fan. Yimi. Well, what is that? Oh, how? Oh, that makes sense. Haomi. The heck is character is that? Lee me. Oh, like, oh my gosh. There's 3 extra radicals in Lee me. Huh. Purple rice? Oh, is that like black rice? Or not like, oh, is that 紫米? Oh no, it's really actually purple rice. I wonder what purple rice is. Yeah, that's the purple rice. And usually I don't even refer to it as purple, but it's kind of like purple black. It's very dark at times, but yes. So let me see what happens. Kind of. Kind of. It's not clear. I'm gonna have to look at what I really like purple rice or this stuff. It's quite nice. I think the ones I'm thinking of is not Chinese though. The one that I'm thinking of is Filipino. Yeah, it's probably the Filipino one. Okay. So Mickey Mouse in the basement of the house. Me. And he's nibbling on some rice like a mouse should.
Mun.
Okay. We saw this coming. Slender Man? That's a push. Okay. Slender Man, huh? This component represents a very tall person standing, which we take to be the infamous Slender Man. He has no face, is usually tall, and is always wearing a black suit. Is this something that I missed? This might be a cultural thing that I've missed. I mean, I know what Slender Man is, but I didn't think Slender... Huh. Does everyone remember Slender Man? I drew an art prompt with Slender Man in it. I think that was 2 years ago. It was for the prompt camping. Portion. Fun. Yan. Jia. Ren. Rang. Oh. Ren. Wu. So hard to see the diagonal lines. Slenderman. Alright. Let's go Slenderman. So we have Slenderman meets Saloon Doors. With Mario on the roof of the infirmary. So how are you gonna do this? So Dr. Mario is on the roof of the infirmary looking for Slenderman. On the roof there is a couple of... There's a plurality, right? There's a few saloon doors that glisten under the sun. Behind each of them is a couple of Slendermen, Slendermen. All at once, they all go through their respective door and start attacking Dr. Mario, who throws pills at them, trying to keep them away. What is going on? Okay. I want to see this in a video game. Someone mod. Oh, no. You might get canceled by Nintendo if you do that. I want to see this in action. A game where you play as Dr. Mario and you're keeping Slenderman at bay. I want to see this. It's okay. It's ridiculous enough to remember. Common. 人们. Oh, 人们. Yeah, 人们. Interesting. 我们 Neiman. I like the yaw. Thank you. Yaw is important. And we. Another we? Is that still what? I can't read that. Tone. It's probably 2. Jamin. Jamin. Okay. Mario on the roof of the infirmary.
们
Plurality. Wait, how do you spell plurality? Plurality. Oh, they just want plural. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Okay. Rice. Meat.
你
Me.
你
Rice. Whoops. Oh, no, that's fine. I just need to
Man.
add the roof. Plural. Underman. Okay, more lessons. Let's go. Ta. Yeah. Okay. So what do we have here? We have alligator and Slenderman put together, and we need a new initial. Tarzan. All right, Tarzan. Right in. Tarzan outside the auditorium.
特
Right. Tarzan. Fictional character from series of the same name who lives in the jungle and was raised by apes. Yes. Hi. Tong. Ao. Te. As in like 特别. Pagoda. Okay. Tong like 同学. Ao. Each. Oh. I was gonna talk about momos now. Okay. Alright, fair enough.
他
Okay. That's fine. So Tarzan is going to do something outside the entrance of an auditorium that deals with Slenderman and alligators. And he is going to do something. Tarzan is in front of the auditorium battling Slenderman. Maybe have some backup from Dr. Mario, who tries to sneak in without paying for a ticket. Oh, that's weird. That's rude. Tarzan swings around while Slenderman tries to hit him, with a male alligator named He. Okay. Alright. Just gotta imagine it. And then somehow Dr. Mario is gonna jump in. He's gonna come from the roof and drop in on Slenderman, you know? That's outrageous. Let's see. 他人. Yeah, 他人. 他们. 其他. Right? 其他. Vitamin? Yeah, vitamin. Wait. Oh, they went with vitamin. Oh. Sorry. The only reason I know vitamin is because Fujianese vitamin, but vitamin. Okay. Vitamin. And ooh, how does guitar work? Guitar. Okay. Tarzan in front of the auditorium.
他
Battling alligators and Slenderman. He is battling. I'm just gonna say he is battling.
要
Yeah, well, say that again. I couldn't hear it. It sounded a little weird. We have Cowboy on top of women, yes. We have Yoshi. Ow. Ao is like Ao is like cow, so it's barn, bathroom. Yes. Yes. Yoshi's in the bathroom of the barn, hiding from the cowboy or cowboy woman that wants to lasso him. He ducks behind a pile of manure as she comes in and starts chasing him. She won't stop until she gets what she wants. All Yoshi wants is to be left alone as he jumps from the sink to the toilet, narrowly avoiding the lasso. Wait, there's a sink and a toilet in the barn. This is a very extravagant barn. I remember they did mention about the uncouth toilet with piles of manure around it. Okay. Yao shi. Oh, that's how you say. That's another way to say you. Yao shi. 只要中药是需要 is this 是需要 B oh no 必要 yeah 必要 I'm thinking of this kind of looks like a concatenation of 必须要 interesting 必要 and 主要 okay, makes sense. Very common characters. The common characters I'm okay with because they're part of conversation. So most of the conversation fine. So what do we have? Yoshi in the bathroom of the barn,
要
dipping and dodging the cowboy woman who's trying to lasso who wants to lasso him. Oh, yeah, sure.
好
How we need a new character. Harry Potter. Of course it's Harry Poppers. Okay. So we got Harry Poppers in the house. Also in the barn, but now chilling in the basement. Something with a woman and child. Is this lore? Harry Potter, yes, okay. But H is pronounced the same as initial. We choose Harry Potter to okay. It's a fictional wizard from yeah. He is an orphan with a distinctive scar on his forehead who attends the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry while trying to find and defeat Voldemort, the wizard who killed his parents. Was that true for the entire series? Oh yeah, it really is, huh? Intriguing. Wow. Oh.
好
Oh. Wait. Thick. Huh. Hey. Oh, hey, like hey, so. Harry.
喝
Harry, you're not a wizard in this context.
好
Yet. We haven't figured out if you're a wizard yet. I'm just kidding. Harry Potter is in the cellar of the barn that oh I see. It's the cellar. It's still like the basement, but it's a cellar. It's another component that's below. That's fair. The cellar of the barn that his parents once owned. He came across a picture of himself as a child with a woman whom he recognized as his mother. Lore accurate. He chokes back tears and muttered, Voldemort stole everything good from him, from his life. Ooh. Although I'm not entirely sure that is how Harry goes about it, right? Because Harry kind of discovers a lot of the details of their, like, as he about his parents as he's going. Friendly. Oh, 友好. This was introduced as a different way on the internet slang part. but 友好 interesting 友好知好 no 和好 oh whoops that's 和和好和好说好 no 叫好叫好 send regard that's not so 门蒙蒙好门好蒙好 no that's when oh that's when I'm thinking of Japanese mon yes mon is goes with when yeah when how and then 美好 May yes 美好 okay all right Harry Poppers in the cellar of the a barn
好
and everything good in his life gone just like that Tarzan
特
okay oops wait yes it's wait it was Yoshi in the bathroom dodging the lasso, right?
要
Just want to be left alone. Or 2-1. Whoops. 2-1. Oh. Or Harry Poppers in the
好
cellar. Good. Harry.
喝
Tarzan outside of an auditorium fighting Slender Man and alligators.
他
He is. Alright, cool. Alright, now let's level up and see what happens, right? We get to level up today. Oh boy. We're going extra innings today. Okay. 门
门
how does this work? Oh. That's how it works. Temple. I screwed this up yesterday, so it's this.
风
不用. However, we gotta remember that it's written in their
不
original
用
tone. How did I screw this up? I think I screwed this up before, right? Oh no. It's the other one. So need not is what they went with. That's the primary. And new
女
new it's just R.
日
Silent child meeting a silent child on a weird day.
日子
Rigid. Bathroom. Bathroom is 4. Inside the main room is 2. Napoleon. Is it just N? Or is NA? Do I have any? No, no. It's. Ah! Oh, NV. Dang it. It's new. Oh, that's what they were using for new. Oh, no. Yeah, it's starting to unravel. Things are starting to unravel. Whoops. Uh. Dong.
东
East Temple. We did. I don't think I need to. Yeah. Who was doing something in the rain? Oh, someone just shout. Yugi is in the basement taking shelter from the rain, but they were summoning. Yeah.
雨
Yes. Fine. What was this with the mouth thing? Was it Kermit the Frog? Oh, Kermit the Frog was in the bakery. How does a bakery work? It's dough? Was in the basement throwing flour in his mouth?
口
Oh, yes. Barn was cow. Cow is oh
凹
Kermit.
科
Oh. Wait. Yes. Bart. Bart is
波
someone was dressed up in fur hiding from the ooh. Mario was hiding the fact that Mario was in the barn. Oh. Not in the basement, right? It's in the barn. Hiding with fur. Oh no. It could be in the basement. Mao? Oh. Oh no. I don't know if he was hiding in the basement or he's in the main room. And he set his fur on fire with flower power. Dang it. It's inside the barn. Okay. 人人.
人人
This is vocabulary, so I gotta know our vocabulary. Yeah.
1月
Oh, can I do January? No. Okay. I didn't know if I could do 1 month. I think that's the thing I didn't test.
Mao
Spur.
5 女
Oh, heck you and your downgrades. um,
8
wait, what was happening with Bart Sims? It's Bart Simpson in front with 8 fins. Yeah, the 8 run fins. Okay, we're finally getting to a point where we have some mistakes, right? Some mistakes. So interesting. Oh, nothing really exciting happens. It just switches to level 2. Lebedu, right? Lebedu 2. Okay. Yeah. I think 20 feels pretty good. We still keep it within an hour, actually. For the most part. 20 feels alright. We're okay with that. So that brings us up to 40. And at some point it steady states to 200, so we'll see. We can always tune it back down. And obviously I can pseudo-regulate my lessons for Wanikani in the future. So let's go over this stuff. There's more to go over now. And what mistakes did I make? This was from last time. These two are from last time, so they didn't reiterate yet. We got, and this one, these 3. So I messed up Napoleon and the tone on Mao. Okay. I think this pace is pretty good. Pretty good. All right. That's a lot of characters. Okay. Oh, that was from yesterday. All right, let's go over our stuff. So we have Tarzan, Jimmy Neutron, Kirby. That's a low point. Kirby, Mickey Mouse, and the heck? Oh, Harry Potter. I'm like, Hulk? No, we already have Hulk. Okay. And then our components are 9. Whoa, I can't spell 9. The English 9. 7. Noon. Slender Man. And Rice. Noon. Yeah. Yeah, okay. And let's write pinyin for these. So Mao. Wu. Yao. Jiu. Qi. Men. Mi. Ta. Ao. Okay. And I guess we have to also write the meanings that they ascribe to it. So this is fur, noon, to want, 9, 7, floral, rice. We're still in the stage where most of the stuff still overlaps, so they're passing the meaning for the time being until we get to like more stuff. I mean he. And Hall. I mean, good. Okay. So our new ones. Tarzan. So what was this? Tarzan. So let's put the Tarzan was outside the auditorium. Sorry. Outside the entrance. Auditorium. Fighting off Slender Man, and as Slender Man is throwing an alligator. Ooh, it's getting a little bit involved. So Slender Man. The heck? Oh, I need to add alligator? Intriguing. Right, Slender Man, alligator. Right, neat. Alligator. He was fighting the dude. So then you lead to right. The Slender Man and alligator are in there. Neat. We got the next level of meta construction. You know? Now we have Jimmy. Jimmy is inside. Jimmy is inside the bakery. Jimmy's inside the bakery. No, not inside. Jimmy's in the basement. Basement of the bakery. The bakery creating clones. Creating 9 clones of donuts. Donuts. I don't actually know how to say donuts in Chinese. Sorry. Not that I'm saying donuts. I don't know how to say donuts in Japanese either. Okay, so we have Kirby, which is oh man. Kirby is outside the entrance to the house. Does that work? No. Kirby is outside of the yeah, Kirby is outside of the house. What are these lines for? To connect the parts together. So Kirby is outside of the house entrance. There are 7 of them. That corresponds to the rainbow. And we get T, right? Then we have Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse is in the basement. This is the mnemonics the app provides. So we're reviewing whatever their structure is. So Mickey Mouse is in the basement. So I'm not actually making a mnemonic. I'm reviewing the mnemonic from today. Mickey Mouse is in the basement. It's in the basement of the house that has a lot of rice scattered around. And, you know, you do be nibbling on some rice. Now we have Harry Poppers. Harry Poppers is... Harry, what are you doing? You're in the barn. So, you're in the basement of the barn. In the basement of the barn. What did you do? You discovered a photo of you as a kid. Oh, I don't have kid here. So, as a child, we'll put the components down here. So, as a child, this seems like a very difficult way to remember Hanzi. It's a fun way to remember Hanzi. I already know all these characters, so it's only difficult because one is under not practice with it. So we saw a picture of a kid and a woman, which is his mother, right? And it's his mother, woman and child. All. So we still have Mario. Mario on the roof of the infirmary. So, infirmary. Mario on the roof of the infirmary fighting Slender Man. That are exiting from the saloon doors. I like this one. Saloon doors. Because there are a lot of them. Plurality. We also have, oh, there, I guess Dr. Mario. So, we also have Dr. Mario in the barn. So, we also have Dr. Mario in the barn. In the barn, dressed up with fur. Hoping that the other peeps don't recognize him, but then he sets the fur on fire. We also have Walter White. Walter White in the basement. Wait, is the basement available? Yeah, the basement is available. In the basement, cooking up some sweet stuff, the good stuff, cooking up some good stuff, recreational good stuff, making sure to remind him that, oh, this isn't noon, it's sundial. Yeah, sundial. So he uses, he's in the basement. or is in the, yes, the basement of the house. Of the house. Using a sundial of all things to make sure that his cook doesn't cook past noon, or else he burns it. And he did end up burning it. Right. And then we have one last one. And this one involves Yoshi. So there's Yoshi. One day I'm going to have a lot of fun reviewing this. Yoshi is in the bathroom. Do I have bathroom here? Did nothing else happen in the bathroom? Wow. Today we didn't have anything that happened in the bathroom. So Yoshi is in the bathroom. Yoshi is in the bathroom of the bar and dodging lassos from a cowgirl. Cowboy. Whoops. Cowboy. Women. And just wants to be left alone. And there it is. That's all of them. Neat. So I'm not sure if you're here still. It's not that you have to do these mnemonics. Like this is just for fun, for the creation. So mnemonics are useful in the sense that when you encounter something you have trouble remembering, right? Which I don't have trouble remembering any of these at the moment. You can use this practice to efficiently create and acquire new kanji. These aren't new kanji, so I'm having fun reviewing the kanji. I mean, not the kanji. The hanzi. The hanzi is not being remembered through these mnemonics. I'm actually remembering these mnemonics through the hanzi because I already know the hanzi. How long have I been learning Chinese? For over half a year. Consecutively for over half a year. So we don't really, this is for the fun of it, right? Because at some point we can use these to apply to characters that we don't know. And that's kind of what the system they're building up. It's definitely not how I construct mnemonics, so it's kind of fun to try someone else's mnemonic system. And this one deals with the mnemonic system is based on a character plus a position plus a location. And in that location, position, and location involves an activity. And that activity involves the components that make up the character or the hanzi. And you get the hanzi from there. And then they give you vocabulary words, which is it's a disconnect from this. So now you have the components brought together. So I actually didn't go over the ones that we got today, which is 20. So 20, I'll just write the pinyin for 20, right? 20, 20, and then 20, right? 20. And that's second hand. And 火车, right? 火车. Right? And that's train. So that's kind of how they go about it, and we kind of do this for fun. I think I made some snap judgments, and we have to cover those. What was the snap judgment? Oh, Napoleon. I screwed up on Napoleon. So Napoleon is abbreviated in a shorthand this way. So Napoleon. And the tone on Mao. I actually wrote Mao, which is not correct. And that's it. Those are our only errors for today. Are you interested in learning Chinese, or have you learned Chinese? Do you speak Chinese? For the record, I am an American-born Chinese. You learn Mandarin? I see. I'm an American-born Chinese. My parents speak Fujianese at home, and I speak Fujianese at home. And I do not speak Mandarin. However, I listen to a lot of Mandarin and Cantonese in my life. But I was illiterate. So, rewinded about half a year back, I could not read any characters at all. But largely, when I hear characters, they're fine. So there's that. And then grammar structure, we're learning a little bit more into grammar structure. Not the basic stuff. The foundational grammar stuff is something that comes from childhood most of the time. Fujianese has the same grammar structure as Mandarin. So, 你也白听福州话吗? I don't know if you're like a multicultural or something and you've heard Fujianese before, but it should be unintelligible unless you're someone that is also in American-born Chinese, possibly. The American-born Chinese tends to have a high population of Fujianese people, but other places might have them too. I haven't met anyone yet that is a Fujianese person that is not in the United States. And this kind of crops up as a thing because when you're speaking occasionally, if you rarely get to bump into a Chinese person, oftentimes the people who are willing or engage in someone who is American or someone who speaks English is outside of the Chinese network, right? And they tend to prefer speaking Mandarin as opposed to a dialect. And a lot of times it's an accent. It's an accent that comes from China. So usually these are very privileged people. Fujianese people are not privileged. They tend to be not privileged. So they usually come out, and my parents would have trouble reading Mandarin, actually. You have no background in it, so I started from zero. Nice! How have your Mandarin experience been going? How are you learning Mandarin, actually? I like asking these questions. This is why I stream, and for the most part. You've never seen any resources on for any other dialects? Yeah. So here's the thing. I would love to learn my mother tongue. My mother tongue is Fujianese. I actually know Fujianese before I learned English. However, English is my primary common tongue. So my common tongue, the one that I use most, is English. But my mother tongue is Fujianese. However, unfortunately, if you don't live in China, if you're like a diaspora, you can't find it anywhere. And usually the people who manage to move scholarly, like the people who may make content and talk about things, they represent the accents of Mandarin. So you might have a northern accent person that you listen to, or a southern accent, or maybe a variant of the accent of Mandarin. However, China also has over 50 plus existing pretty populated dialects, and those dialects are unintelligible to each other for the most part. Fujianese happens to be one where so far I didn't encounter some like things that would be a deal breaker for me, like a trouble, but Fujianese have 8 tones. So I do miss the other 3 tones. And then things can be dramatically different. Like, for example, wa, ngoi. Ngoi is wa. Or like me stays the same. Like, me, goi, me. Ha, e, how, hall, right? Hall, I don't know what else we got. Yao. Oh, what is yao? Not a good example. Xiang. Xiang is xing, xing, ni xuan. Oh, xuan. Sorry, ni xuan. Instead of xiang. Things like that. You started with the HAZIX book. Nice. This guy, the people who make HanziHero, Kevin is the writer of this content. Kevin takes into account HAZIX's approach. So the stuff that's doing here is his take on kind of their own personalized fork of HAZIX things. So there's been comparisons drawn, and this person had made a direct comparison with HAZIX, his disagreements with it, his agreements with it, things that he extracted. So mnemonics, learning by mnemonics in a various way. So this person actually knows the background in HAZIX. So Kevin learned Mandarin. So this is a product from a Mandarin learner, as opposed to someone who is a native speaker. So often this person has the perspective of looking at other resources, and HAZIX was one of them. And then I love the Chinese grammar wiki. No doubt. The Chinese grammar wiki is fantastic. And then some beginner reading materials. Interesting. He just kept advancing slowly from there. May I ask, what motivates you to learn Mandarin? I don't hear this as often as I would imagine people would be, because largely it's Japanese. I'm laddering Japanese and Mandarin. So Japanese is first. It's been close to a year now for Japanese. And most of the time I would make comments in Japanese, as in like when I'm looking at these characters and stuff, it would be in reference to Japanese as opposed to Fujonese. Fujonese has no writing. Like I don't know what that looks like and how that works. It probably uses the same characters. Like it uses the same writing system, but it would be nearly improbable for me, because my parents dialects are not transcribed. So I can't make any comments on how I would write ni instead of wa. It might be the same character, and you just have to remember the different sounds. It would be really interesting to ever meet someone like that. Someone who's educated. Fujianese people are not necessarily the most privileged people. Like, for example, my parents are. My mother is probably more educated. She might have graduated from high school. And my father, it's very tough. My oldest uncle is largely illiterate. So they're like labor hands, and they made everything based on the sweat of their brow kind of thing. So they're not academics. In the great scope, I have a really large extended family, but I think of all the people who are more educated, like in this way, we're not talking about success here. Success comes in different lenses. I'm the most educated in my extended family. So this type of thing does not necessarily interest most of my extended family. They're like business people, strong business people, pragmatist. So learning mnemonic devices, talking to people who learn other languages, educating other people, that's something that is almost distinctively restricted to me in my extended family of like 20 people. I got into reading web novels in Mandarin. Ooh. Oh, okay. You like wuxia type things. Translating. So I wanted to be able to just read the stuff in the original one day, hopefully. Well, that's good. You would think they'd be interested in stuff, but I guess not. It's are you familiar with like do you read into Chinese culture quite a bit, like modern day Chinese culture? Typically one of the hallmarks of Chinese culture is pragmatism. So yeah, some on the way you would think nationalism is a very strong component, right? Nationalism is incredibly strong in China. However, when one is not in China, the core of all that stuff, like being nationalistic and whatnot, is pragmatism, right? Unequivocal, high function. It's kind of humorous because the internet is kind of an example of hyper objectivity, but pragmatism. So whenever you get a chance to talk to someone who's English speaking, like myself, it's already ruled out that I am clearly not from China, right? If I'm speaking English at a particular proficiency, it's largely due to pragmatism. My parents know that in the United States, they come to do everything they can possibly do to ensure the success of me and my sister. So naturally, the Chinese pragmatism takes over their nationalism. My parents are they're really prideful about their heritage and the people they associate with, that kind of thing, for sure. However, it doesn't exclude the pragmatic reason of being Chinese. They're very pragmatic. So the one thing that's pragmatic about language is I live in an English-speaking country, so I have to excel at English. And sure enough, most of my extended family members also inherited that value system. So for the most part, what defines and characterizes most of my extended family, they're all successful people in the sense of making money most of the time. So they ensure that they are successful in the environment they are, even at the cost of trading off the cost of potentially retaining their language. Actually, I have the least proficiency of all, I would say, in Mandarin for all of them. It's a great I how close are you to reading the stuff in the original? Like are you someone who has to juggle an occupation and a professional while also dabbling and studying Mandarin? I don't work professionally right now, so when you see me doing this stuff, I have to remind people that I have a lot of time. So my time is usually focused on academic enrichment. So this stuff is not taxing to me. It's something that I spend most of my life doing. I work and study and learn things. Even when I'm working, I'm studying. The main process of what I used to do professionally is to study, read, and do things. I used to work in the sciences, specifically molecular biology. So I've gone through graduate school. And most of the time, if you're not using your hands to conduct an experiment, the practical side of things, then you're reading, you're studying, you're learning more material, and you're using that material to apply to something, right? So spending most of the time looking at an angle to a problem or to a thing that you want to achieve. And in this case, I'm applying most of my aptitude towards investigating and exploring different ways that people go about learning a language. And I'm learning Chinese and Japanese in the process. It is a natural byproduct of being interested. You don't spend too much time on it. I'm still kind of far away from the goal, but with all the digital tools, it makes reading harder material okay, so maybe I get there sooner rather than later. I'm glad to hear that you're leveraging digital tools, because the last thing you want to do is not feel like things are inaccessible at any level, in my opinion. I think one of the things that are missed, and I would like echo maybe like Megatron Academy or the people who have very grounded expectations, being able to engage in the stuff that you see and then you use is exceptional. Like, it's something that sometimes when you hyper focus on the goal, you lose the joy of the things you learn. So it's awesome that digital tools are making it accessible, that you're able to read material, whether they're like too far out or too far in, because it keeps you going, in my opinion. So like, I it's not exactly a Mandarin example, but I hear sometimes where people get so caught up where they end up not being able to enjoy the things that they originally tried to learn a language to enjoy. So like, for example, they change the way they read manga and change the way they interact with anime as a way to make everything structured around their progress towards learning something. And what happens then is all the joy gets sapped out, and they can no longer appreciate all the little increments and improvements that they have while enjoying the things that they, right? So that's pretty cool. And by the way, you like wuxia things, right? Do you play video games at all? Hi, because there's gonna be an explosion of, actually, I don't know the tone on, it might be wuxia, wuxia or wuxia. I'm not actually up to date on how to pronounce that in the right tone. Let me. It is how come these things don't have tones? Oh wait, do I know these characters? No, I don't. Hold on. Give me the tones, please. What is the tone on? I don't need IPA. IPA doesn't help me. You can probably tell me. You play occasionally. You have the best tool for gaming in Chinese. Nice, nice. What tool are you using at the moment? MAKU, bless. It's 3 a.m. Why am I still? We had like a 7-hour to 8-hour, like we had a 6-hour Wanikani session. It was a level 3 day. We got promoted, so we did all the lessons. Just add another language to this pile, puts Chinese on that. It's a free tool called Yomi Ninja. Oh, the game has some cool demo video. I'll have to check it out. Let me see. I do plan on playing some video games, like when I get a time. There is a video game that I am currently planning on playing. It was made for Japanese, but it works with Mandarin too. That sounds about right. Hear me out. Recently, actually yesterday, the new Dynasty Warriors game came out. So Dynasty Warriors Origins, if you had like a console or a PC or something that's available, that's kind of a fun way to learn, because you can still default it to the Chinese characters and or possibly other things to see it. Currently, for me, I do set aside one game that I'm playing, one game series that I'm playing, and it's happening in February, at the end of February. So that's going to be, you're going to see me, if you ever hang around, going to see me play this game. It's dubbed, it's tri-dubbed now. So Like a Dragon series. So the people that publish by Sega, right? Pirate Yakuza is coming out this February. And I still have yet to do the Yakuza games. Now, it's only the recent 2 Yakuza games. So the last Yakuza game, now they're called Like a Dragon for clarity's sake. So the Like a Dragon game, Like a Dragon 8 Infinite Wealth, I played it through the English version. And then I stopped. I had to play it through 2 more times in order to complete like the achievements and stuff. But I usually save it for every other different playthrough. As of Like a Dragon 8, the game is also dubbed in Chinese. So I stopped that right before I waited for the next game, and I started language learning in both Japanese and Chinese. So it's about that time now to the new game. The new game is being released in February 20th. I'm not affiliated with Sega, by the way. So I'm gonna play. So I deliberately waited for the 2 playthroughs as long as I can, and I'm gonna play through the main story quests of Like a Dragon 8 again in Chinese, then in Japanese, and then right in time for the game I already purchased for Pirate Yakuza. I didn't think they were gonna release a game this year, honestly, because last year around this time they released Like a Dragon 8. So they're gonna do this every year. I have no reservations in recommending someone if they're interested in Japanese language learning or Chinese language learning now that game has so much dialogue in like slice of life things that outside of your criminal justice, like organized crime and like the main story, all the extra side activities, they like discuss random things like hobbies. Your character, the members of your cast in this game talk about normal things like, oh, this is so delicious, this restaurant, like, did you know that this dish was served like, and they translate all that. It's all like voice acted. So I have yet to play the Chinese version, like the Chinese dubcast of Like a Dragon 8. However, if you're ever interested in a video game, in my opinion, I think the people at Sega has often constantly hinted that their game is going to be multinational, and they did it. So that's pretty sweet. So it is a game that if you have an appeal to want to play something and it needs like slice of life, things you can interact on a normal basis, like going to the arcade or joking and insulting each other or calling each other names and like talking about school and reminiscing about life. The Like a Dragon games are filled with that. I think it's the majority stuff than it is now, and it's set in present day. So you're not gonna necessarily have the weirdness where you're like, oh, well, when am I gonna ever talk about dragons? Unless in a hobby stream or something, that kind of thing. Although I don't know of any mainstream other Chinese game on that scale yet. I think possibly Shenmue might be the fan dubbed, possibly, or like so this is one of the few games right now. And obviously Japanese, all of the other stuff is dubbed in Japanese. But I have yet to see one other than Wukong, right? Wukong. Yeah, Wukong. You can play Black Myth Wukong, right? That's one that is in China. The problem with that is it's like idiomatic. So while I can understand the sayings, like the Chinese sayings, largely due to me hearing it most of my life, like this is the tale of so on, and then like they talk in syllables and idioms and stuff. You kind of get used to it, but it's not like a way to pragmatically learn phrases that you'll use. You'll sound like a scribe from like the ancient times, right? So it's tough finding a Chinese Mandarin game that has a lot of slice of life stuff. Yeah, with Yakuza, you can read the dialogue in your own speed. Yes, exactly. And because of the way they promote their engine and stuff, you can replay all of them. And they're preservationists, so they're like a preservationist type of game style. So basically, you can go to an archive and you can play back all the conversations. It's a JRPG now, right? Except for I have yet to play the next game, but the last game that was dubbed in Chinese is a JRPG game. So you have these interactions in both text and dialogue, and the character interactions are constantly stored. It's like a record keep thing. So like even if you don't want to play the game, you can actually go and grab a completion data file of someone else's, and you can go to like the glossary or like the hub of the game and play back all the conversations. That's kind of a neat way of farming for something, and maybe you can get attached to something that is ongoing. And the nice thing to know is this is not going to be the last game. And this coming game is not going to be the last game. So to me, I think that's super sweet. For Japanese language learners, they have a lot more. And in fact, I would usually default to Persona, right? Persona, which is the other IP that Sega is publishing with Atlas, but that's Japanese. It's largely dubbed in Japanese and English. So you can't really get the Chinese experience side by side, right? And their new game Metaphor, which was released last year, still English and Japanese. I like to think that Sega, this is underappreciated, obviously, but not everyone cares about, actually the most people don't really care about multiple dubbing. I love that. This is why it's the last thing that I decided to both study how to read and speak Mandarin, and then read and speak Japanese. Because one of the series that I love and it's ongoing is available. And that's sweet. I don't know if that's what Sega intended, but that's something that I can say I definitely give it a try. Not that if you're like not a big gamer or something, it's something I bring up a lot of times that might be a little unique. Yeah, I'm level 3 now, Blair. Now I need to actually start Wanikani? What the heck is that mentality? I mean, I've picked up a book for Japanese learning at Barnes & Noble today. Nice. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing. If you wanted to know like a relative where I am, it's kind of hard to quantify. However, formally, I'm going to say formally, I'm okay with the grammar context from HSK 1 through 3. So I'm pretty comfortable with that. And I have almost all the characters in HSK 1 and 3. So in terms of legibility, like in terms of reading comprehension. So that's probably where I am. So we can always chat and talk about whatever's in this. I don't actually know what's in this now off the top of my head. I don't know where I am. I just totally ignore SOK and learn something in a random order. Yeah. The reason why I'm using this is there's no other like, since I'm learning in whatever order these guys want, right? Whatever like HanziHero wants, it's really hard to tell you how much we actually know. Like I can't actually express in any way other than it. You heard HSK and thought, oh guys, Star Rail. Genshin on the brain. Well, the nice thing about Genshin is, wait, doesn't Genshin have Chinese? I'm pretty sure Genshin has Chinese. So you can actually learn maybe. Genshin is an ongoing thing, right? Anything from MiHoYo. MiHoYo is probably in Chinese. I don't play MiHoYo games, so that's an avenue. And it's a live service game. It doesn't cost any money, right? It doesn't cost any money as long as you don't get gacha baited. So you can use MiHoYo. MiHoYo's developer is dedicated to Chinese because they are a Chinese developer. So that's also an avenue. I personally do not have an experience with MiHoYo other than watching other people play MiHoYo titles like Honkai and Genshin, right? But there was another one, but I don't know how it's going. It's the developers that maintain a competing product, like the people behind Tower Fantasy. That's something. Otherwise, I don't see anything that has a very like common day conversational thing. Like MiHoYo and MiHoYo stuff deals with a lot of character interaction. So it's not like folklore or something incredibly esoteric. While Black Myth Wukong is one of my favorite tales, obviously, if that's not apparent, and stereotypically, I really like The Tale of the Monkey King, but largely Journey to the West, like Journey to the West. However, that stuff is filled with proverbs and talking patterns that might make you sound like a sage, but probably not something that you'll immediately resonate with. So, I think Genshin's casual conversations tend to be pretty solid. I don't know about Tower of Fantasy, but that's a Chinese dev, as far as I think. I am pretty sure that's a Chinese dev. Are there any other Chinese devs that are openly releasing things? Probably not. I think Game Science is probably the biggest, largely because of their collaboration with Sony. So maybe it'll be in the future. There are some games coming out that are this context. There's one that I can remember. Is it called Phantom Blade? It's probably not called Phantom. Phantom Blade Zero? Is that a Chinese dev? Pretty sure it's a Chinese dev, yes. So the next game is that, since you like that type of era, it's probably Phantom Blade. I don't know when it's coming out though. I don't even think it has a release date now that I think about it. There is a demo that's supposed to come out for the public use. But Phantom Blade is one of them. It's by a studio called S Game. It's Hong Kong. It's being shipped out of Hong Kong, so that makes sense. Oh, it's becoming available. Anyways. Thanks for chilling. WoW has Mandarin. Oh, that's a good point. My thing I go to nowadays is I watch Disney movies in Mandarin and Japanese. Disney is international, so nearly almost all of Disney properties, and they have they have lots of like down to earth things. Actually, Pixar pictures, Pixar films in other languages are amazing because their subject matter and most of their things are, modern life. They're often modern life with a bit of whimsy, right? But most of the conversations and stuff are dealing with modern life, not like magic swords and spirits and whatnot. They're usually very low-key conversational modeling stuff. So you can watch something like Up in Mandarin, which I have been doing. I've been watching over old Pixar classics that deal with conversations that are like a regular life, like talking about someone's passing or how to be happy and talk to kids, like Inside, for example, Inside Out, that kind of thing. Talk about emotions and whatnot. So Disney has Disney/Pixar, right? Disney Pixar, really great one. I'm not sure about DreamWorks. DreamWorks might be a pretty decent one. Pretty sure most of them are international, so you can pretty much watch like Shrek if you want it. So there are those things to do. Right now I dabble in Disney movies, largely because I know the Pixar film really well, so it gives me an extra comparison for Mandarin and Japanese. So there are things that there's no way I've learned this before, but I have enough context in understanding what is happening, and the emoting and the visual expressiveness creates context clues or a phrase that you would associate with something. Like sometimes I might not understand someone full, but I can respond to them. Oh yeah, and Ghibli, right? Ghibli, which by the way, Ghibli, right? Ghibli Studios is also managed by Disney in the West. So outside of Japan, the distribution of Ghibli movies and whatnot is Disney. So Disney then have the collaboration to distribute like dubs and whatnot. So that's pretty sweet. And I haven't watched one yet. The closest one that I watch, largely because they're already in Japanese, is the early ones. Miyazaki films. Miyazaki films have very like grounded level conversations. And that grounded level conversation leads to great impact based on how he executes his things. So like things like My Neighbor Totoro. If you watch My Neighbor Totoro in Mandarin, it's really, really understandable. At least I understand it by hearing it, even without learning any of the additional words that I've learned, which I only know conversational Mandarin because I don't talk to my parents and my family, or my family don't like talk to me about like politics or religion or science or something. So I rarely use those words to reinforce. However, if you're looking for like conversational topics and flow and stuff, lots of the family life stuff in Miyazaki films are really fantastic. Yeah, good one. I forgot about mentioning Ghibli, which happens to be Disney related too. I'm not sure about superhero. I'm not sure about MCU. That's under the property of Disney as well. So I imagine the MCU also has dubs. Or if you're into MCU and stuff. I'm thinking of things with a lot of content, right? Content that is relatable and from a exposure standpoint, and then you can use it as a way to re-engage in something that you feel familiar and be interested in, to get a second crack at it. Realizing a lot of the regulars on your Dragon Pixel game Discord are all Asia, Europe right now. Your Dragon Pixel game. Oh yeah, that's right. All right. Well, hear me out. It's super late for me. I'm not sure what time zone you are. I don't want to place any pressure on you, but I would love it every once in a while. I hear if you wouldn't mind entertaining me with some of the things that comes to mind or things that you've learned in Mandarin, because I like that encouraging other people to share or be interested in their language learning also makes other people interested. So I'm always here. You know where I am. I tend to try to be as consistent as possible. I usually tell people when I'm not here as opposed to when I'm here. And I would love to hear some of your stories. Like maybe a particular phrase that you're like, what the deal is with this phrase? Or I like how funny this stuff is. I think in a long run, it gets everyone to want to learn language, right? So obviously you don't have to go out and listen to all this stuff or do all this stuff at once. It's there. Hopefully something makes you like really re-engage with the language, whether we're speaking it or not. I have this like romantic thought that in another 2 or 3 years, like me and Blair here, we know each other quite a bit now. We would be shooting back and forth with like half English, half Chinese, or half Japanese, or like throwing Korean randomly. But I would know Korean, but maybe she'll know Korean, but she'll like talk Korean and Japanese together, so then I can figure out what the Korean is, right? That would be really cool. Right? Hopefully that becomes a thing. I think that should become a thing in general, but obviously language learning in Twitch is not gamified enough at the moment, but it might not always be the case in the future. Yeah, I'm starting Spanish soon. Spanish is actually my first learned language, as Blair has added Spanish to it. Spanish is actually my first learned language. In being raised in the United States, you had a choice of German, French, or Spanish, and pragmatically speaking, I chose Spanish because I was already around people who speak Spanish. So, pretty cool. Let's encourage each other to do our best. And by the way, if you're interested in trying to use this, it's actually free up to past wherever I am right now. I forgot. It's like 100 characters. And I've only done 30. so far. So it's at least level 3, which is what Wanikani does for Japanese. You get to level 3 and that's where they stop. So if you wanted to see how it works for you, definitely give it a try. I'm not affiliated with HanziHero. However, this guy, to tell you a little bit about Kevin, he is a Florida native from the United States. And his brother, both him and his brother work on this product. His brother is currently in Florida and Kevin is in Taiwan right now. So they're doing like development on this. It's supposed to represent a modified Anki approach. So it's an SRS system where they're trying to make it so that you don't have to remember when to study and when to review to touch up on vocabulary, and then spend most of that other time engaging and immersing in other things you have. So at most for me, the default of this workload takes someone less than 20 minutes each day to like expose themselves to vocabulary and then try to efficiently ingrain some sort of mnemonic system, which is very similar to HASIC's foundations. You also study Portuguese, which is very similar. Oh, Portuguese person. We're going to have discussions about Portuguese in the future. I can already see when I start Spanish, there's going to be talk of either Portuguese or any other Romance language. There are a few people who are French or study French, who already know French. And then I haven't met anyone who's Italian yet. I can imagine Italian will come up. So we can like compare and contrast between Portuguese and Spanish in the future. That's a conversation that I had quite a lot whenever Spanish comes up, because Brazilians, people who are in Brazil, they are very infatuated with Japanese, right? So oftentimes Japanese and Portuguese go in hand. And then Spanish, there's quite a lot of people here who are interested in some form of Spanish. Actually, there is another person who's missing that spent multiple years. So definitely feel free to talk about things. Yeah, Italians like Japan a lot too. The Romance languages really actually lend there's quite an interaction between Japanese and the Romance languages. For me, my bias, I'm going to plug something before I go today. Laddering Japanese and Chinese is easily one of my favorite things to this day. Like it is so fun to see the redundancies and the non-redundancies in terms of like the reading of Japanese and Chinese, and they go hand in hand in terms of like available like tools and whatnot. So oftentimes Japanese is the trendier one at the moment because of like how much more open the culture is and geopolitics and stuff. So whenever you see like a Chinese tool, it's likely a Japanese tool as well. So oftentimes they become very similar. Like for now, most of my year of 2025, I'm going to be investing in using HanziHero and Wanikani. These two tools are are the same but different, right? One's Chinese, one's Japanese, and the two developers like adapted that to their language. While at the same time, it's very difficult to read Japanese without thinking of Chinese and vice versa. So what happens is, in my opinion, it doubles the significance and the input of the language. Obviously, the grammar structure is entirely different, which makes it really interesting and refreshing, while at the same time, other things feel samey. So you kind of get a nice balance. Of course, learning a different language. Am I learning traditional characters? I am now. So where I am, the HSK1, I actually learned simplified. And with this tool, I'm going back and learning traditional along the way. So all of these things are fun because now I'm rediscovering all the characters in traditional. So this tool is available in both traditional and simplified. So I will do just that. However, at the moment, this is the traditional stuff. So it gives away, you know, men. Men is on here. That gives it away, right? These are traditional characters. Are you learning traditional or are you learning simplified? I spent most the bulk of my time in the last half a year learning simplified. Yeah, so either or. I don't discriminate. It's some of the I write most of my characters, right? I write and I can tell you, for me personally, I understand. I can totally empathize with people who choose maybe to read traditional while still be able to figure out what simplified is. But writing traditional, that's not a lot of people like writing. I've come to learn this or find writing pragmatic. I do write. Some of the traditional characters are a little what's a good one? Hang on, let me show you a good one. Oh, they're not here. Yeah, I didn't learn them yet. So some of these examples are wild. You do plan on learning Chun once you get good at Mandarin, but until I'm sticking with simplified. Yeah, I'm overlapping. So the content that I'm catching up with, the characters I'm aware in simplified. So I'm exploring that until I get to a point. And then we'll see how I go about it in the future. So I haven't decided how yet. Yeah, heckin' bot mates. But let me know how this looks, because there are like oh, and here's another thing about learning traditional. Japanese characters tend to be traditional. So it doesn't increase the level of difficulty per se, because when you see, like, for example, jian, right? You can probably guess what jian is, or like this component, right? So, oh no, my pen. So this would be right. So these two are the same, right? And then jian would be this. They do. They do. Japanese do have Japanese simplified characters. And one of the earliest ones you learn, or Japanese morphed ones, where they're not even simplified, they're just different. Like, for example, the really earliest one is this character. And it's equivalent in terms of its like meaning and stuff to what is the simplified character? It's no, that's don't oh no. I don't remember the hold up. Wait, no, I had to write the first one. It's fine. So it's equivalent to this, which then the original. I don't actually know what the traditional character looks. What's the traditional character for this? It's neither of these. I don't actually know. I didn't learn it yet. But the common character between these two is the first one, which is the sound. So this is right, ongaku. This is ongaku and 音乐, right? 音乐 for music. So that's one of the first ones, and this is kind of sloppily, right? So there's a lot of idiosyncrasies between them, but it's kind of fun using these as memory tools. Anyways, oh wait. Let me see if we have examples. that I would recognize right now. Oh, this one? Yeah. Oh, actually. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So it's kind of simplified. Yeah, so it's a simple, so Japanese simplified the traditional, right? It kind of looks like it's this stroke order. Yeah, so then the Japanese simplified this into these strokes. Meanwhile, simplified Chinese is like, nah, nah. Nah, let's just go something different. Yeah, yeah. Good examples. Yep. What there are some good ones. I'll have to share with them if they ever come up. I'll make a note. But I'm sure we'll get to it at some point. All right. I'm going to head out now. It's late. Thank you for stopping by and sharing a candid conversation. I hope we have many other new stories in the future. And hey, if you're doing something, I would encourage you to try to do something like this. I think there are quite a lot of enthusiastic people out there. And, you know, if you're not shy to say things and pronounce things while you're learning, I think it's a great medium to have people come to you as opposed to the other way around. So if you ever have problems, I think overall, if you're a reasonable person who likes to interact with people, sharing your experience like these can be a very rewarding process in itself. So on that very positive note, it's been a long day. I'll be back tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out. If you're gonna watch this later, 谢谢, right? 谢谢. So until next time, 下次见, right? 下次见. 下次再聊吧, right? And until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye bye.